So another guy here that works at Sport Engine, his name is Noah, and he runs a kind of a fantasy Oscars game. So the Oscars are coming up at the beginning of next month. He actually got a cease and desist last year on his website from the Academy. And so he just had a website up. It wasn't really doing anything. It had a couple logos and stuff that he took from the Oscars, but it wasn't functional. It was just a website where you could download a ballot and then you send him the ballot or email him the ballot after you're done filling it out, and then he tallies everything into an Excel spreadsheet. And the way the game works is you have each category has a number of points. So 20 points for Best Picture, 10 points for Best Actor, 10 points for Best Actress, etc. And then you fill in. You can allocate those points any way that you want. So I'm going to give 10 points to The Wolf of Wall Street because it was a fantastic movie. I'm going to give 5 points to her. I'm going to give 5 points to Captain What's-His-Face. And then if Captain What's-His-Face wins, then I get 5 points because I allocated 5 points to that. And then I'm put up against everyone else that plays the game. So Noah came to me on Thursday last week and said, hey, I'd really love to have this in a website. What do you think? How long do you think it would take? Maybe it's too big, I don't know. And I kind of looked at his mock-ups and I looked at his PDFs and stuff, and I thought, I could do this. This isn't going to be that big of a deal. I could do this. And so I set out this weekend to write this app, and it's I chose the framework Koa, K-O-A, and it's written by TJ Hollowaychuk. He's the same guy that has written hundreds of modules on NPM, but also one that's well known called Express. So it's a competing framework to Express, and it's basically just pure middleware. It's all it really wants to be. It's middleware and a web server, very minimal. But the novel thing about it is that it has to run on node 0, 11, 8 or higher, and it has to be run with the -- harmony flags. And so what -- harmony does is it gives you a few extra little things that are available in ES6 or ECMAScript 6, and the feature that it uses in particular is generators. So generators are a way to do asynchronous code, but have it visually look like it's synchronous. So you don't have to have callbacks or promises or anything else. You just say, yield this thing, and assign that to a variable, and that variable, when that asynchronous work is done, just gets that value. And then the next line, you just do something with the variable. And it's like almost life-changing for somebody that's really deep into node development. And so I'd like to show you a little bit of the code, and then I'll show you what it actually, like the website actually looks like. So go ahead and log in. Password is super secure, ASDF. Oh, so I'll show you the website first. How about that? So I also used AngularJS, kind of a new thing for me last few weeks. I find myself very, very, very productive with it. Highly recommend checking it out if you haven't, if you do like the front end thing. But as an example of what the app kind of looks like, you got, here's my ballot, so I can allocate points to Best Picture, Best Actor, or whatever. I am the only one in Best Actor. Yes. I was demoing it earlier, and so, yeah. As an admin, you can add and set up categories. So here's the category form. So you can add additional categories. Pretty simple there. Scoring, we can say, oh, it wasn't Dude, Where's My Car that won Best Picture. It was Wolf of Wall Street and Frey, good fucking luck, you're not going to win. And then these save. There's no feedback, but they actually do save. I can refresh, and you see that those are changed. List of users, so I can add or remove users, make them admins or whatever. Results aren't implemented yet. Results are the last thing I do have to implement, but that should be pretty easy now that everything else is done.
Which database did you use? Did you say that?
So I used Mongo. No, I didn't say that. So I used Mongo. So it's kind of the mean stack. So Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node.
Cool.
I call it the K-man stack, because of lack of a better way to integrate Koa into that. So Koa, Mongo, Angular, Node. So let's see some code. Really quick here, show you like the user's route. So all the interesting stuff really in this is the fact that we've got a function. It looks like it has a name of star. That the star, the asterisk, is not the name. That designates that it's a generator, not a normal function. It's a generator. And then we yield there. So yield ballot find. So ballot find is ballot is a mongoose model. And then, so we're doing find, which returns a query, and then we run exec, which returns a promise. So the great thing about Koa is it uses a coroutine library called Co, C-O, not K-O, C-O. And Co just kind of handles all the generator coolness for you, so you don't have to, do yield this thing and then get back a different value that you don't think you're actually going to get back, because it's kind of a weird object that you get back with the next method and all these other things. So you don't have to worry about that. Co takes care of all of that stuff for you, and allows you to yield on promises, generators, and what are called thunks. And a thunk is a function that just takes the last argument being, or the only argument being a callback method. So you can thunkify things like fs, fs like read file, just provide the parameters that you want up front, and then the last parameter that ends up getting provided is the callback, and Co can work with that, and it will work with yield. So, like I said, we're just running yield. This is asynchronous work. It's going off, doing some other thing asynchronously. Node is still able to field requests and run in the background. We're not blocking Node here. And then we have all the users that it returns gets assigned to users, and then I just assign it to this .body, and it gets returned and rendered and whatever. So that's about it. I mean, it's super, super simple. It looks a lot like Express when you're setting it up. You have app with, it's require Koa. You set up middleware the same way. So app use, and then here's a basic logging function. Super simple. App use session. I want to use sessions. Everything is middleware. Nothing is configuration. It's all middleware. So your apps become very, very composable as well. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I got.
Do you have that up on GitHub?
It is on GitHub. It is currently private. I'll make it private right now, just for you guys. Or public, not private. I'll make it public right now.
Any downsides, upsides using Koa?
So it runs only on an unstable version of Node.
Unstable version.
Right. So you have to run Node 0.11. So if you guys don't know, all the odd numbers on the minor version of Node are unstable. So if you want to run Koa, you have to run it with an unstable version of Node. So your mileage may vary as far as how far you want to take that into production. This particular app is going to be running for about 2 weeks on Heroku. Heroku supports unstable versions of Node, so I'm not too worried about it. After that, it's going to be taken down. Yeah?
What's the URL for the balloting?
For the what?
The balloting.
The balloting? It's not open to people. It's actually a closed game that he runs. So, yeah.
Contest for
Huh?
a t-shirt.
Yeah, right. Maybe I'll spin up a second one. So anyway, yeah, it's a closed game, but the source will be open, so you can go ahead and run your own if you want.
How's the community around Koa?
The community is growing. I had to patch the router that I was using, and they patched it instantly. So it was great. The community has been growing. It's not as vibrant as Express, just because Koa is still new, and it's running only on unstable versions of Node. But as soon as Node 0.12 drops, I mean, I'm sure that people will pick it up pretty quickly.
Is there any idea when that might be?
The benevolent dictator of Node just changed hands, from Isaac Schluter to TJ Fontaine. So when that happens is still unknown, but it's imminent. I would say within the next month or two. But I don't know.
So you sound enthusiastic. Is Koa going to be your go-to over Express when possible?
Yes. I have never felt as productive as I did this weekend doing software development. Never. I've never felt that productive.
Piece of that to Angular, though, as well.
Yes, a large portion of that goes to Angular for sure, and a bit to Mongo for Mongo's ability to make things really fast. But people talk about the mean stack, and I've always kind of like, yeah, that's for people that are that only want to spin up some like lame project super quick. Well, I have a lame project that I wanted to spin up super quick, and it worked really, really well.
Just a quick plugin for Angular too. You just switched to a ASP.NET MVC in the last month, go into a small area to Angular. It's just opened our eyes pretty much. Just unreal. Productivity challenge, the MEVM model, whatever. It's really going really well for us.
Cool.
Awesome.
I was curious too how you compare Koa to some of the other frameworks that are out there right now. I'm doing a side project myself using Kraken. Just another one. There's a bunch of them out there, but
Kraken is the LinkedIn one, right?
yeah, probably
PayPal, that's right. LinkedIn, PayPal, kind of the same thing. All right, it's public now. So I've never used Kraken. I have used Sales.
I
a little
can
bit.
answer that.
Okay, great.
So Kraken is based on Express.
Yep.
So Express is no different than Express. Koa is basically the only other major middleware option out there. It's kind of follows the same philosophy. I hate to use other language examples, but like Ruby. Ruby, when you look at their middleware stack for rack, it follows the same basic principle, which basically means that you're just stacking middleware on middleware on middleware on middleware. Whereas Express, it goes linearly from the top to the bottom of your Express configuration, versus Koa, it goes from the top to the bottom and back up. So
Yeah, that's a great point, and actually I can show representation of that.
yeah. That's a huge deal. That makes it possible to do all sorts of fun stuff. I actually built a RESTful API library specifically to deal with that problem, because Express did not go down and back up. It just goes straight linearly through your
Goes through the app, and then
configuration.
it sends a response out.
Yep, it does.
So yeah, Koa really has this kind of parabolic curve, right? So it goes all the way down your middleware stack, and then as soon as there's no more middleware to run, it goes all the way back up. And here's an example of that. So this logging function that I showed you earlier, it's yielding next. So it does some things, right? So it starts start new date. So it's just getting the current date where the request started, and then it yields next. So yield next basically allows it to go through the rest of the middleware stack. And as soon as that yield comes back, then I can get another new date and then subtract it, and then that's the total runtime for that request. Right? So it went all the way through and then all the way back, because everything is middleware, right? Routing is middleware. The last handler that you have is middleware. Your error handlers, so those are middleware. Everything is middleware. So it just kind of goes through that stack and then goes back up, and you can do things on both sides of that swing. So it's really, really, really powerful in that sense. Cool. Any other questions? All right. Go back to Chris then.